I don't like when I don't get what I want. I don't like failing at anything I set out to do. I would only assume that you don't like failing either. Nobody does. I know sometimes it feels like you're struggling and you're barely treading water to survive in your pre-reg, and I can empathize. Sometimes it can feel like the whole weight of the world is coming crashing down on you, and it's painful, it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, because you know that other people are expecting something from you. And it means that all the time, the effort, the energy that you've put into it is wasted. Imagine walking into your practice the morning after reading your OSCE results and finding out that you failed. To see all those expectant faces of all your colleagues, I understand that pain. But it's happened, so now what? I wanted to talk to you about today the things that you can do to stay motivated. A lot of times students come to me when they failed, not necessarily before they've actually attempted the assessment for the first time. And it can be a really difficult conversation for me to have with them about staying motivated. But at least they've reached out. If you feel shy and you haven't yet found the courage to seek support, but you do feel demotivated with where you're at in this stage of your pre-reg, take a deep breath. Here's my advice. First of all, you need to take your time to understand the results and accept them. Life isn't easy. These exams are not easy. They're meant to be difficult. Otherwise, everyone would do them and our profession wouldn't be worth very much. Except that you didn't pass this time round. But you will learn from the process until next time. Wouldn't you rather that you make a mistake in the exam as opposed to having flown through by chance and then have a serious error later on in life costing you your career? Secondly, you've got to remember that without failure, we wouldn't be celebrating our wins as much. Sometimes you'll fail several times before getting to that point of achieving your ultimate goal. And it's not nice to hear, of course, but it's going to feel so much more worth it when you pass. When you've had this struggle, I'm sure you're going to appreciate your job, your career, and everything else a lot more. Most importantly, you've got to learn from your mistake. If you messed up, don't let that be your excuse to give up. Let your mistake itself be your motivation to try once again. And this time, focus on not making the same mistake again. You will still have learned something and you'll gain a lot more through the process. And I know it probably doesn't feel like it right now, but take my word for it, having the gift of hindsight, making mistakes will help you learn a lot more. It's important to create and maintain a positive mindset. If you've failed your stage 1 visit or your stage 2 assessment or even your OSCEs, you need to make that conscious decision to be positive about the outcome rather than miserable. I get it though. It's a lot easier said than done. But a positive mindset will lead to positive results, whereas a negative mindset means that you've already assumed you're not going to pass in the next attempt. You've got to try and figure out your next plan of action. Try and be proactive because you know what your actions need to be after this exam that you didn't pass. So you can start focusing on the path that you want to achieve. If you don't do anything, that in itself is going to lead to failure. And I think one other important thing to remember is that you're not the only person that failed. I get it, that it feels like the whole world is against you and that you're the only one being picked on and the only one to have suffered this fail. But once you realize that actually several of you guys are going through the same thing, you can motivate yourself to get up and get going again. Next, I want you to just put it out there into the world. Visualizing and actualizing is a thing. So if you say to the universe, I'm going to make this happen, eventually you have to take ownership and responsibility and get things done. By doing this, you're also going to reinforce your positive mindset, giving you that motivation that you need to continue on your journey. Lastly, what you need to do is get yourself organized after you failed. You need to create a plan based on what you've learned from your mistakes. This will also put you in a better position to succeed because you know where you're at, you know where you're heading, you know how to get there. Remember to learn from each one of your failures instead of actually just dwelling on the mistakes that have led up to it. Focus on what you can do differently and how you can change your approach for the next time. Don't ever be afraid to seek help or support wherever you need it. Just remember that if you need me, I'm here.